Hello, wee unicorns, and welcome to our first online assembly. This is one of our Building Resilience assemblies, and it's called Challenge Your Mindset. Here's a quote to have a little think about. You will not learn if you think you have learned enough, and you will not grow if you're not willing to change yourself. Have a think about that and have a wee discussion with the people around you and see if you can understand what that means. And hopefully, by the end of the assembly, this is only part one, but by the end of part two next week, hopefully you'll have a better understanding of what that means. I'll read it again. You will not learn if you think you have learned enough, and you will not grow if you're not willing to change yourself. So in our Building Resilience assemblies, we've learned about this little guy called Skipper. He's got a boat and he has to navigate the river of life. And he's found that these 10 tools help him to cope with the river of life. And we've already looked at some of these, and for some of the older boys and girls who've been in James Gillespie's for a while, you've gone through this whole program before, and hopefully this time you'll understand it with greater maturity. And then for the younger children, this will be the first time. But it's useful to read these different titles because although we're not focusing on every tool at the moment, they're all useful, especially at this difficult time when we're all having to stay at home. So I'm going to read out each of them and you can have a little think about how important they are to help us with the coping and with difficult times. Keeping connected. Respect yourself. We've already done that one and we remind ourselves, I'm okay. Today's one, challenge your mindset. Take a moment. Sometimes that's all we need to stop and think before we act. Talk things over. Very important to always talk over your worries with someone else, and it really, really helps you. Get active. Not so easy at the moment with us all being in our houses, but I'm sure you're finding ways of being active. Make a difference. If we can make a difference for our world, it really helps us as well. It does a lot for us if we help others. Look on the bright side. Try and count your blessings even through difficult times. Being kind to others, we know that's one of our values in our school, so we know how important it is and how much it helps us when we're kind to others. And have a goal, have something that you're aiming for. All these things help Skipper and they can help us too. And today it's challenge your mindset. In this unit, we will cover who we are and what we are good at is not fixed. The way we think, feel, or learn shapes our brain. And I can change through the choices I make. Skipper finds some things hard. Skipper has to sit a navigation test about the river of life. He doesn't think he's very good at reading maps. And rather than fail, he's decided that he won't even try and he chooses not to take part. He says, I can't do this. And he might even screw up the map and throw it on the ground and stomp away in a bad mood. I'm sure we've all had times when we've felt like that, when we've thought that things are just so difficult that we'd rather just not try. What we have to remember and understand is that who we are and what we're good at is not fixed. We're not born artists, musicians, athletes, or scientists. Skipper has a fixed mindset about his ability to navigate. What he doesn't know is how the brain works and that people only get better at anything with effort and practice. Just like learning to walk and talk. When you were born, when you were a baby, you couldn't walk and talk, and it was something that you had to learn to do, and it took a long time and a lot of effort and practice. We can't remember that because our memories don't stay with us from that age, but some of you will have seen little brothers and sisters learning to walk and talk, and you would have seen how much effort and practice they had to put in. This slide shows the difference between a fixed mindset and a growth mindset. So in the yellow bit, when Skipper has a fixed mindset, he avoids challenge. If something looks difficult, he thinks, I'm not going to bother. He gives up easily. If it doesn't work the first time and he finds it difficult, he just stops and gives up. He gets frustrated and ignores feedback. So if somebody tries to tell him how to do it or how to get better, it might make him angry or annoyed at them. And he feels threatened by other people's success. So when he sees them succeeding, it just makes him feel worse. But when he has a growth mindset in the blue, he embraces challenge. So he recognizes some things are going to be difficult, but he's willing to work hard and try hard. He learns from others' successes. So when he sees someone else doing it, he can say, oh, well done, you're doing really well. Maybe I can copy you and try and learn that way. And he believes effort is most important. He knows he might not get it done perfectly, but the more effort he puts in, he knows that's going to help him to improve. And he uses feedback to improve. So when people say to him things like, well, maybe you could try that next time, it doesn't annoy him. He thinks, oh, that's a good idea. I'll try that. Thank you. I will. I'll give it a go. So you can see the difference between a fixed mindset and a growth mindset. The way we think, feel, or learn things shapes our brain. And next week, in part 2 of this assembly, we'll learn more about our brain. Mr. Hutchison, our new DHT, is going to do next week's assembly. So if you haven't managed to see the little Twitter video of him introducing himself, you'll meet him next week. We're nearly at the end of the assembly, but I wanted to remind you that the voting for the health and well-being can do, the yellow guy, closes today. Mrs. Goddard sent out a link for people to vote. First of all, she asked for suggestions, and now she's sent out a link for people to vote for their favourite. It was on Twitter and Learning Journals. So if you haven't yet voted, please do so that by next week, we'll have a name for Can Do. And I'm sure we'll share that in next week's assembly. Thank you for all those who voted already. Now, our assemblies are never complete without one more thing, and I bet you can guess what's coming next. Did you guess? Yes, we want to say happy birthday to everyone who's had a birthday since we've not been at school. It feels like a long time since our last assembly and we got people out to sing happy birthday to them. So stand up if it's your birthday or if you've had a birthday in the weeks since we've been staying at home and not being able to be together at school. I hope you had a very, very happy birthday. I know it would have been different and maybe not quite as much fun if you can't see your friends, but I'm sure your families would have tried to make it special for you. And I bet you this is true, you'll never forget this birthday, this lockdown birthday. So happy birthday to everybody who's already had one, and a special happy birthday for anybody whose birthday it is today on the 1st of May. We're going to finish with a song, and the best way for you to hear the song is by using the details on the screen to log into Fishy Music, and that our login details, the email there, the admin at James Gillespie's email, and the password Singing Unicorns with an exclamation mark. We've been allowed to share that with you so that you can access Fishy Music and you can sing. We would recommend you sing Stronger because we know it's one of your favourites, and I'm sure your families will be very impressed with the way you're able to sing it. But you can also have a wee play around with the other songs on Fishy Music. Find your favourites or learn some new ones. So thank you for listening to the assembly this week, and I look forward to seeing you again, and whether it's on Learning Journals, because I do have a look at you there, and well done to everybody who's managing to upload some of their achievements. It might be things that your teachers have asked you to do, or it might be things that you're doing with your family. So it doesn't have to just be the learning that the teachers have offered for you to do. So well done everybody for all the work that you're doing at home. We really miss you and we really look forward to seeing you again. I will try and make sure there's an assembly for you to watch every week from now on. Take care. Bye.